How's everyone feeling today? Good. It's nice, the music that we like to have at our center is never performance-oriented. It's devotion-oriented. It's part of setting a tone for the service itself, just as our sacred reading and mission statement and everything else is. As is part of our custom to ask you what you would like me to talk about today, I got the first request was to talk about the now, the present moment. So thank you. What else? Yes? Telepathic communication. That'd be a great song, wouldn't it? There's no time but now, I'm communicating with you. Yes? Pardon? Those went well together, huh? Division and relationship. What is it? Unity. Trust. Good. That's good. Thank you, guys. Things start downloading. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. No, man. Too much. It's like they'll run out of the room if I say that. Go for it. You don't know what you're asking for. Forgive them, Lord. They know not what they ask. All right. Well, I will. Just remember, you asked for it. Oh, God, it's so beautiful. Remember this, telepathic, long-distance healing, telepathic communication. They imply that you're doing something in one location and bridging to somewhere else, somebody else, right, in some other place. That takes effort. The real secret to that is learning to not just believe or suspect, to know there is no such thing as time and distance. You can talk to your great-great-great-great-great-grandparents. You can communicate to your great-great-great-great-grandchildren. There's no place. There's no distance. There's no time. It's hard for the human mind to comprehend this, which is why we sit around looking at watches, wondering when this day is going to end or my job's going to, because people are so enslaved to time. But there really isn't. Love is a power. Love isn't just a thing, and it's not just what you are. Love is a power. When you love people enough, there's no distance. I love you so much, I want to send you healing prayers. Yeah, but they're in Europe. Okay, so hold on. I'm visualizing, because this is what manifestation techniques would tell you to do. Visualize you're getting on a plane. Ding. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now boarding. And you got to spend this hour of and then getting on the plane. The sound effects, feel the seats. You got to get really into that law of attraction kind of thing. And you visualize, you make it really feel, all of it, and everybody in line, in the aisles getting off the plane. And then you got to make this real. They lost my luggage. Okay. And then you landed, you got picked up and they brought you to somebody's house so that you could pray for them. All of it's a dream. It's all a hologram. It's made up by us. So why can't we just say, never mind, I'm there? Just believe it. Just know it. And God says you have the power to do this. So just do it. Or picture them right here with you. They're mourning. They're sad. You take their hand. You picture. And if you're going to visualize details of anything, visualize the details of their shift. Not you flying there and all the tediums. Just visualize their comfort level. Visualize them dropping in, even though they might feel sad and so forth. There's people that can go through a lot of extraordinary healing techniques, and that's better than not healing techniques. But one thing's better is when you do your healing techniques, remember the difference between the doing and the being. That my love for you commands that you're already whole. Now, if the love in me imagines you as a broken person, who's, by the way, lucky to have my presence to do my healing techniques on you, because I charge a lot and I'm doing you a favor. Or I decide that your deservability is there. You're a holy being. It's impossible for you to be sick. But we have decided that you are. Well, no, it's not me. I'm the healer. I didn't do. Yes, if they call on you and they're sick, you're sharing their belief that they're sick. But only for a moment. Only long enough for you to hear them say that they're sick. It takes two to heal. Two people agreeing, two or more gathered with one intention. The intention is to see you as you really are. I don't care if I'm using surgical scalpels. Oh, that's better if you are a surgeon. But it doesn't matter if you're a surgeon. It doesn't matter if you use acupuncture needles, Reiki, any technique. This is not just for the holy, prayerful people. Any technique can be brought into holiness through our intention. You can be a holy healer as a surgeon. You can. Edgar Cayce didn't describe scalpel when he talked about somebody needing surgery for something. And occasionally he would tell them, take this, you'll be healed in 3 weeks. Okay, he's done. But once in a while he would say, you'll need to undergo surgery. But he didn't talk about it linearly. You know what he called surgery? Surgical forces. Meaning even that, stay out of judgment, surgical forces. That even that, like an herb, a healing technique, it's all energy. We just put labels and techniques to it, but it's all intention, really. And if today the person thinks they need the scalpel, fine, let's go with it. Let's go with it. Jesus didn't heal one technique only. Why did he do different things? Why did he spit and make mud and a poultice to put over somebody's eyes, and another person, they just touched his garment and they were healed? He had to match them to a degree where they were at. You know, which I think is kind of funny, because he could just go, done. Instead, he's like, oh, this one. Okay, hold on. You know, on the eyes. And the dude's like, yeah, poultices. I really like poultices. And then it's just worked. So what? Same with relationship. It's the same. There isn't one thing works for everybody. If you're a counselor, a friend working with anybody, or a partner working with anybody in a relationship, you have to bridge with people. And if their version of a poultice, an eye poultice, means holding them more often, if it means talking more often, if it means clearing the air, clearing the past, where do we need to go? And if somebody says to you, well, to be in a relationship with me, here's my list of musts, you look at it and go, bye. If you can't meet those, but if you can, you know what? That's different, but yeah, let's go. I'll bridge with you. And here's where I'm at. Okay, so really relationship has to do with bridging, but bridging comes from the intention of love. Healing people at long distance, it's all about love. And then distance doesn't have any power. Relationship, love, and then issues don't have any power. Because my intention to love you will start. You think, channeling's like somebody doing this or sitting in a psychic fair. You're channeling when you care about your partner enough to ask, what do I need to do here? And you start getting insights. Now, if you don't want to know and you just want to be right in a conversation, you've narrowed down the channeling abilities. This opens up as an intimate partner, as a good employee, as a friend, as a parent, whatever. When I open my heart, stuff just comes. Whether it's as a musician, right? Or as a teacher, or when we open our hearts and just say, I don't know what, it's not I don't know meaning like a self-proclamation of ignorance. It's I'm open. What would you have me know? And then all of a sudden, these profound downloads, and it's amazing. Human beings are channels. We really are. And I don't mean just channeling or individuals that officially channel. I'm talking about we are channels. All of us are channels. When you ask, I think I'm going to make some a dessert today. Technically, you have the ability to make it or channel it. Anything we do. When my kids were young, I'd go in the room when they're going to bed, and I would always tell them a story. But I just made it up at the moment. Tell us a story, just like you folks. Dad, tell us a story. We want there to be 3 fairies, an angel, no, 2 angels, and ferns. And I'd be like, I wonder if this is ever going to pay off, this ability to tie words together. No. So I'd go, okay. Once upon a time, and that'd just start happening. Now, is that like some sort of poetic brilliance in me? Well, if I said that, then it just becomes a thing, and now it's limited to that. What if I just go, isn't that just wow? And just let it happen. And now all of a sudden, how you make things becomes extraordinary. People go, well, I have a recipe for that, but it doesn't taste like that. And the secret is butter. Well, okay, fine. The love and the channeling. We'll go with it. There's the love. But usually that includes more butter. Most people don't understand time. or butter. Butter for you, butter for me. But people don't understand. Like, we live, and it's the word victim. We're a victim of time, right? We're victims of this world. We're victims of relationship, misunderstanding. I got fired. My car's getting too many miles. I mean, everything. We're nothing but victims in this world. And yet we're told, ye are gods and goddesses. Everything you want in the garden is yours to use as you will. But it means use from a place of love. You won't play discordant tones in your relationship or your words. You know, it's just, it's harmony. It's about love. It's about, one of you asked about that word unity. That concept of unity, where does it come from? Love. The desire to be part of them. See, you can't, as A Course in Miracles puts it, you can be under the same roof and be miles away from each other because there's no connection. That doesn't mean there's not moments of annoyance, because there are. It can happen. You get a nail in your tire, you're all just driving down the street, channeling. I just feel, the presence, and thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus, Jesus. Yes, Jesus. You could be all, into your chants and mantras and Om Mani Padme and signal to the right, boom shakalaka, signal to the left. And, you could be doing everything in the zone. And then, when you're pulling over, I mean, it's hard to be like just, jacking up the, I mean, it's hard to, instead it's some stinking, and I try, but this world. And if you're a Christian, you'll be going, Satan's after getting me. Just made a flat in my Goodyear tire, And if you're spiritual, it'll be like, I wonder what the lessons are behind this, Yeah. Hey, this is karmic, apparently. All right. So I sabotaged the wheel on Ben-Hur's chariot. I did. I own it. And it's coming back to me. Sometimes when I start, I'm looking, okay, telepathic communication, division, unity, trust, and I think there's no humor in this at all. And then I start talking and something happens. But in this world, there seems to be a past, a present, and a future. Now, we can generally say, I understand past, present, future. But think about this. The past is anything that ever happened before right now. Not this minute, right now. Oh, too late, it's already gone. You can't even measure the present. And the future is anything that happens after right now. Not a minute, not an hour, not even a second. Anything, boom, right now. It can't even measure what now means. And we think, I'm just trying to be in the present. People, the New Age community, Sedona, man, I just live in the now. For how long? By the time you finished your sentence, you're already in the past. Seriously, think about this. It's like, what does this mean to be? And then it gets even weirder because do you know how long the past is? Billions of years. Do you know how long the future is? Billions of years. Combine those, billions and billions, or whatever number of years. All of the weight of the past, which, by the way, the past holds all of my guilts and shames, all of my regrets. Yeah, I might have fond memories, but guess what? They're gone. I remember, but they're gone. I used to have a wonderful grandmother. She's dead. The past doesn't look real good. So the past is kind of heavy. Sadness, guilt, shame, even things I loved are gone. Okay, future. It's all guilt and shame of the past, fear of the future. Now, fear, I'm not saying everybody lives in paranoia, but listen, fear of the future means even things I long for aren't here yet. I can't wait until, but it isn't yet. So the future's not looking too good. And you combine these two forces and you put them together, look at how much time they take compared to now. Way outgunned here. But this is the material world looks like this too. The material of the world has so much power. You're going to age, you're going to die, people you've loved have been gone. As Buddha puts it, the world is a place of suffering. Wow. You know that dude never made it as a life coach. Yes. I would like to hire you as my life coach. That would be wonderful. Okay, so what can you empower me with today? Life is suffering. That's it? That's all you need. You know, to understand this world can offer you nothing. Why is it a place of suffering? And he explains, of course, in his teachings, because you think you're missing something, you go looking for it, you won't find it, and if you do, it'll leave. That's what he's saying. Even if you find a good thing, it'll eventually die. And so he sat in shock and went, oh my God, this world offers you nothing. And that's horrendous to realize. Even if you love them, they will die or you will die. Someone's leaving or dying. Wow, this is heavy. But then he goes, but wait, do I leave it at that or is there a solution? There is a solution. Get away from time and stop following the dictates of your senses. When you think someone's gone because your eyes can't see them, stop believing they're gone. Start believing that the now has something magical in it. Yeah, but it's as soon as I go, now it's gone already. I can't, how do I catch the present moment? You can't because it's timelessness. So in the measurement of time, when we say there's past, present, future, that's actually not true. You can't find the present. There's past and it's already future. It just, one disappears to right to the other, segues. There's theoretically something in here called the present, but since it's immeasurable, you really can't find it. Right? You see what I mean? It's like a thin line right there. So then what is the present? The present is actually a portal to timelessness. You don't find it by measuring it and saying, I notice that you're struggling. You should live in the present like me. Because I'm not in the present as soon as I'm describing the present. Because it's indescribable. Because as soon as I'm talking the past and then the future, something right here is not experienced in the measurable world per se, but here's what happens. It's turning within and going through a portal inside. And then here, oh my God, wait a minute. Like I'm getting all these chills right now. Like, see, just describing it gives me chills. Imagine then you do it. So you turn within, you go in and it's this portal. Oh my God. None of this affects me now. None of this bothers me now. This is phenomenal. This is miraculous. Of course, I start getting attached. I got to stay here. Oop, gone. Popped right back out the portal, and I really liked what I was experiencing when I was experiencing, but oh, this is frustrating. Let me get back to that portal. Boom. Too much thinking, and now I can't do it, and worrying, and I wonder if I'll ever experience that again, back to the future again. I wonder if, and it just, I lose it and I lose it. It's this magical thing. There's this portal, and if you struggle in a relationship, conversation stuff or whatever, it's not lecturing others or being lectured about how off you are in the past or future. It's quiet. Inside there's a knowing. Despite what seems, and remember those words, despite what seems to be happening. Don't do prayers like, despite what is happening, despite this world having power over me. You can say it this way, despite it seeming like the world has power, because it only seems to. It doesn't really. Despite my friend seeming to have passed away. And somebody said, what do you mean seems? They're dead. No, that's what it appears. Now, if you have people that'll attack you for not agreeing with their reality, be careful not to say too much. Just go, yeah, okay, they're dead. You know, and then do the eye roll. God gets it. No, but you know, you just, oh yeah, you know, and because that's bridging again. When you get really attached to telling people, I took this class, or there's a lecture, and there's metaphysics and time, and that's science in you. That's the science that wants to prove itself. The ego loves validating itself. And science loves validating itself. And government likes validating itself. And all of them are ridiculous. God doesn't need to validate itself. Spirit doesn't need to validate itself. Your truth doesn't need to validate. If it's real truth, it doesn't need to validate itself. What will happen is, if there's such a thing as validation at all in relation to this, it's really in how much you feel peace and happiness. That's the proof right there. It's actually not measured by anything of the five senses, like the yogi would say. You know, ignore those five senses. Look at what's really happening. You can feel it. You know it and you feel it. And that portal, man, it just takes us into a place of, you know, timelessness. But time's kind of an interesting thing, because if you look at, like in mythology, the Big Bang takes place, let's say, using just one example, Greek mythology. So the Big Bang takes place, and then you have the original primordial forces that are formulating a universe as per the commands of the mother, saying, this is where my children are going, so go ahead and comply. And so primordial forces are created. And one of the first primordial forces is called Uranus, which is I'm just simplifying or paraphrasing. Let's say it represents the universe itself. So the universe has been created. Now, a child of Uranus is Chronos. Chronos is where you get the word chronology or chronometer. Chrono means time, meter means measure. So a chronometer is your watch, okay? So we get the chronometer or chronology, time, from Chronos. So Chronos is created, and he's saying, I am time. You know what's happening is the fall's taking place. We went from oneness into time when Chronos steps in, murders his father, but then lives with this. Now this is time we're talking about. The force of time says, now, karmically speaking, since I've killed my father, prior to this, Uranus, chances are something's going to come back to get me. So he's already a little worried about that. Time in itself is worried about its own existence because it's an illusion. But Kronos says, okay, now I'm afraid that my children, because Kronos gets with Rhea and they create the gods, the Olympians, like Zeus. So they're going to create these gods, goddesses now, but he's afraid that they're going to try to kill him. What does that mean? Because the free will of the gods and goddesses, which is like you and I in our true self, the free will we have can kill time. Do you see the metaphor? Time is an illusion, and if we use and exercise our free will, it doesn't have power over us. So he's afraid they're going to kill him, which they do. They eventually overpower him in what they call the Titan alchemy war, the war of the Titans between the Titans and the gods. So Zeus and them finally hit, and then Zeus and their descendants become the demigods, and the demigods become the heroes, and the heroes become mortals. Human beings that just go, I'm a victim of all this. If we access their God and Goddess self, we can defeat time. But I'm not saying, now it's too late. You don't want to try to go back because you cannot go back in time per se. You can't erase, first, you can't erase the past. You can't wish it didn't happen. But it didn't happen. What you can do is know that it has no effect on you. But while you're in time, you will believe in time. And if you try to pretend you don't believe in time, you're going to live conflicted. Because you know there's no such thing, but it gets you every day you see a new wrinkle. You see? So you can't just go, nope, there's no such thing as time. You don't get pulled over by a cop and go, what is speed after all? I mean, it doesn't work well here, in this realm. So you kind of have to smile a little. Oh, okay. You play the game. But you know that the real you is in no way controlled by time. The real you. But while you're here, let go of its power. You can use time. Time can become a friend or an enemy. It becomes an enemy when you get attached to it in any way, for good or ill. Attached to it being used positively, it's still got you. If you believe in it for good, it's going to show you duality and show you bad as well. So you have to let go of time, the concept of time at all. And how do you do that? Well, if you can't forgive people that hurt you in the past, how are you going to experience freedom in the future? Once again, freedom becomes the trick to break time. Time exists because of separation and judgment. When you separate, when you heal separation and judgment, it's not that it disappears. It first has to feel like it has no power over you. I helped again this last weekend at one of Judy. She has this estate sale company. And I remember, it's on Friday and Saturday. I remember Friday morning, my morning prayer, I decided to throw something out there that was a little different. I said, I just feel so high. And I thought, in this high state, I think I'm going to call in a really beautiful miracle. And I didn't say that there's no time. I just said, let me experience such healing and miracle consciousness that time will fly. For the first time in helping and donating or volunteering at these estate sales, for the first time, it's the weirdest thing. They open at 8, and by 9 o'clock, it feels like it's noon because there's so much going on, right, guys? There's so much going on. It's like, wow, it's got to be lunchtime by now. Oh, it's like 8:15. And it's like, time is my enemy. Because it's your consciousness that turns you into timelessness. You see, there's one other trick to helping with this, but I'll come back to that, I guess. So, but in this moment, I did this prayer, and I'm like, let it feel like time flies. I'm telling you, I swear to you, first time in all the time there. We started it 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, whatever, and there was a point where I said, so what time is it? And I hear 11. And I was like, you mean 8? No, it's 11. You mean 8:15? No. For the first time, it's 11. I'm like, and I thought immediately, wow, we changed time in this moment, right? And then one of these folks that were at the sale, they said, so should we start cleaning up? I go, well, no, what time is it? They go, 1. I'm like, you mean 11? No, it's 1. Second really great validation. You see, it's beautiful. We know that time seems strong, but time flies when you're having fun. Well, show me a scientist who studies chronology, chronometers, time, and so on, that says, oh, well, all scientific laws are worthless when you're happy. They'll be like, oh, that's subjective stuff. That's silliness, valueless, silly mind games, positive thinkers. They don't believe in that. It's really a trip when you can warp time, when you can warp scientific law because you're happy. So that means your state of mind, God, goddess, when you get into a God, goddess, or happy or joy-filled state of mind, the laws of this world start changing. Now, does that mean that everybody's watches, when nobody was looking, went zzz and sped up? Not necessarily. But still, what happened? I feel peace, and I feel like I've been only working for an hour and it's been 5. It feels great. So one extra thing we can do is remember the power of will, the power of divide and conquer. If you stay focused enough on what you're doing, time will also fly more easily. If you stay focused. If you sit and go, so how much time has passed? Oh my God, 3 more hours, like that. It's me in school, high school, just the clock. How could I possibly, oh my God. And I would try. I would, think of clever ways to get out of school because I didn't like school. One time I even arranged for a phone call to come for the teacher, to get them to go to the office to get the call, just so I could get leave. I arranged it ahead of time, and they were starting to watch me, Somehow he gets out of this room, and I'm there, so they're keeping an eye on me. So I didn't like school. But that's because my mind is different. It wasn't the linear, heavy kind of thing that happens with memorizing data and details. I thought, this just doesn't, it's just not my heart. I don't feel it. And we all have to learn, what is your heart? What is your center? What is your theme? What is your keynote? What are you about? And if you have children, what are they about? And try to steer them in that direction of what they're about, not what you want them to be about. And most of this world doesn't do that. It'd be great if any place of employment says, here's the jobs we have, and fits you in the best place. I mean, that seems obvious to us. But instead, it's workforce. It's everybody just work. And then we realize we can make more money if we pay less of you. So you're going to do twice as many jobs for the same fee. See, people don't understand, but what's the feeling of that decision? What's the feeling? What do you mean feeling? We're improving our income. We want to see that bottom line on the chart at the end of the year. See, but that linear thinking isn't peace. It isn't the timelessness of turning within and saying, what's the vibration of the thought of making people work more for less? What's the vibration of that? It isn't a good one. But people don't use that compass. They don't use that tool of measurement to say, peace is my compass. Joy is my compass. I have to stay true to this. How can I be helpful today? Right? So the concept of even telepathic communication can be one of effort, because it's me trying to connect with someone else. But what if there is no one else? What if we're one? Now I don't have the effort. See what happens? I'm creating a space. Here I am. And now let me take you that seems over there and put you in this space right here. How are we doing? And we're already feeling better. But you have to create a space. If you're a healer, even a parent, you have to create a space. One of my kids, when they were adolescent, I remember their mom, hey, how's it going? I check in, one of your kids, they're mine, when they did something wrong. No. But one of your daughters actually kicked the wall and put a hole in it. That's lovely, right? But I can address it as you did something wrong and consequent, all that parental stuff, right? Or even if you're partnering, you consequential, da-da-da. What I did was, she gets on the phone and I said, how are you doing? Why? Because I'm not addressing the thing you did, I'm addressing the feeling that must have been there when you did it. And she immediately started crying. She felt guilt, shame, fear. What's going to happen? How are you doing? Are you okay? Crying, crying, crying. You see? There's all this stuff in that person that's building up, and it blew into kicking a wall. That wasn't her typical behavior. So can we see beyond what people think? You don't understand how sick I am. That's the same consciousness. It wants you to go to it and identify it as, you're sick. Even if you think you're helping others, if there's others, there's still a problem of separation. Healing can't happen with others. Healing can only happen in oneness. We know that oneness would mean you're in the presence of God. Who could be sick in the presence of God? Jesus walks in a room and demons are like, oh my God, it's him. And they're like, all this weird writhing and spitting and vomiting and throwing themselves into fire. Now, if Jesus was the type to doubt himself, it would have been kind of a drag. Like, I can't even enter a room. People start throwing themselves in the fire. We don't want you around. People end up getting hurt when you're around. He had to know. He had to understand what's happening. When truth arrives, deception, lies, secrets, they start getting uncomfortable. And I have to say, as a human being, as human beings, it can be challenging because when you know what you're talking about, when you know what you meant in that conversation you had with your partner, and you know you didn't mean what they're interpreting it to be, and so on and so on. When you're in that knowingness, doesn't mean everybody goes, well, you seem like a person of knowingness, so honey, I'm good. Whatever direction you want the relationship to go, I totally trust you. I could tell you're plugged into the present. No, it doesn't usually go that way. They go, I've known arrogant people like you in the past, and you're not going to be in my life in the future if you're going to, you still have stuff to deal with when you're in that knowingness. So you have to decide, do you keep acquiescing to other people's issues and fears in relationship? I'm talking work, family that wants to label you. Do you just keep acquiescing? I mean, I did it here and there as a kid, because if I just stay in the knowing, this world wants to punish people that know. Not just tolerate you, it wants to punish you. So some of us just go, I better just get quiet and not be me. Now that's called hiding. Is that good? Is that healthy? No, no. Let's go. Where do we need to go right now? And bring the stuff forward. If I of myself am trying to pull this off, I'm going to stumble a lot. But if God is with me, what could be against me? So we have to learn not to get stronger against people that want to push and pull us. We have to actually plug into God in this moment. Yesterday, meaning a second ago, a minute ago, an hour ago, 15 years ago, you could have been a person that was drugging and partying or doing whatever. That has no power over who you are in the present. The present means, there's another phrase or word for that, choice. When you have used free will to choose to be in the now, all time bows to you. It has to. Because when you go into the present moment, you're plugging into God. And even time says, we have no power against God. You see what I'm saying there? So all time, all illusion, all things of the senses, they have to be still. And you know where that goes. Be still and know the I am presence of God. We're your past, be still and know. We're your future, be still. They don't have any power. But they can try to have power because they know you're not used to being in this place. They know all they have to do is ka-choo, and you're going to lose your center. Boo! Oh my God. Was I really in my center? Now I'm judging myself. I don't know if I was really there. Now I'm doubting. Oh my God, I'm just not a good person. You just like, wow. How did you determine that? Well, somebody sneezed and it just disturbed my reality. But you get stronger and stronger. If you have anybody in your life that validates your true self, your God self, God self, give thanks, because not everybody has that voice of sanity. So don't take it for granted. Give thanks for it. Anyone in your past even. Past is an illusion. Yeah, you know what? The past is an illusion. But the gifts they gave me are in the present. I don't lose the support that someone gave me when I was a child and I had one sane family member. I cannot lose the love that they sent me then. The love lasts forever. They died, but I will not forget the gift they gave me. Gift/present, you see? So in the present, I'm absorbing all the goodness, man, including the voice of God. You stand, when they say stand in your center is found in the now. And the now is not a point in time. It can't be, because there's no way to measure when the past ended and now began. And as soon as it did, the future's already there. Time is a magical portal. And in a sense, you picture it like this. Here's time chronologically. And then all of a sudden, picture, on there would be this thing called the present, but the line isn't thin enough to make a line called the present. You understand what I mean by that? You can't make a line skinny enough to call the present because it's still measurable because there's a line. So there's an invisible line when you get in the right consciousness, and the line goes like this. And it becomes not only the female yoni, we call it in Sanskrit, not only the place you're birthed from, but it's also this one. When you go from these eyes, one of these eyes represents the past and one of these eyes represents the future. Even having two eyes is because I have an eye in each of these two time frames. But in the now, I have a single eye. And Jesus says, let thine eye be single. This one sees only the past. The magic of those statements, like Course in Miracles workbook lessons, I see only the past. He doesn't mean with this. I see only the past. These eyes are always the past and the future. Duality. I'm not saying pretend duality doesn't exist. I'm saying know that it doesn't, but play with it anyway. Play along. Be on time to something, you know? Yes, it's just strange. It's just strangeness. And this world seems so valid, and it keeps validating itself. So when we sit and have a talk like this, or your own meditations, do you understand that we're training in the impossible? We're training in the miraculous. The things we're talking about are not at all supported in this unsupportive world. So it's kind of like we're doing the insane. The things we're talking about to this world are considered insane. Some of us have been institutionalized for believing things like this, burned at the stake for believing things like this. Even scientists who were originally metaphysical scientists, the church just had them put to death. Lifetimes in prison because you went, no. The sun is the center of the universe. But it's so ironic. Who killed them? God? No. Ego-based people who wanted to believe that the earth was the center of the universe. That's funny to me because you want your material self to be the center of the universe instead of the sun, which is God. So even that is symbolic. I'm being killed for believing that God is not the center of the universe. I think that's funny because how's that not going to happen when you have the ego running the show? So eventually maybe the sun is the center of the universe. If you lived at that time and you went, thank God why were you waiting for them to figure it out? Didn't you just know that? Didn't you just know that God is the center? Scientists will say, one day we're going to learn how to time travel, which is so clever. Look at us. Look at science, how we're becoming so clever. We can travel through time. Yes, from one place that doesn't exist to another place that doesn't exist. You're still going to a valueless nothing to another valueless nothing. That's not impressive. I mean, you're just going to deflate them. And they'll say, we need a law to kill people like you. Because you don't validate the silliness. The speed of light and all these concepts. Well, we're going to capture the speed of light and we're going to make it into a mathematical equation, which they now argue about what it is and isn't. And it's like, what happens to me when I hear these conversations? Do you want to travel the speed of light? Yes, but it's 50 years ago, let's say, and they're like, we don't know if it can be done. There's no such thing that could be. What comes to me is the only way to truly travel at the speed of light is to realize that you are the light. Because now as fast as I go is the speed of light, because I'm light. You don't look like you're traveling very fast. That's because you're messed up. You can't see it. The real me is the light of God. Let there be light. Boom. Now everywhere I go is the speed of light. And here's one more weird piece. So where do I find the present? Well, it wasn't then and it isn't then, so it's right here. But do you realize that right now was in every past second and every future second? Yeah. It's not just in this place that, I heard this lecture too late. The present is back there somewhere and I missed out. Every second in the past and future has the portal hidden in it. So no matter where you've been, you can visualize ancient times or past life. Somebody says to you, you had this past life where you were naughty, which there's a few. Or there's a past life where you were persecuted. I don't care if they say to you, oh man, this reason you have such a low self-worth and you're afraid of everything, you were burned at the stake and you're like, oh, that's still bothering me today. No, visualize, go back in time, show up at the stake, let the fires burn and go into that portal. God, consciousness, I am in the now. The fire cannot harm me. If you can do that, the effects of that fire in the past over you will disappear. Not because you're pretending it never happened. You're changing your vantage point of it. Once upon a time, I was a victim of you burning me at the stake. And then you married them, the one that lit the match. You know, I do. You're like, not realizing where this is going. And then they burn you, in different ways, metaphorically in this lifetime. And you wonder, that jerk, that this and that, I'm a victim of this person. All it took was when you saw them going to light the fire, I hate you. And already the universe goes, oh, now you have to marry them. Because you got to hook you up with people you have issues with. Overly attached to someone, they got to become your child that passes away because you have to deal with attaching. I'm not saying the universe is cruel. All that's happening is the mother saying, honey, I will always only portray what you think you need to learn. This is the funny part. It's when people say life is all about lessons that we have to learn. No. Life is about lessons we believe we need to learn. I always throw that in there. It's always about things I think I need to learn or heal, but I think I need to. In God, you don't have to, because God's here going, what's the problem? Well, in the past, wait, where? In the past, I'm looking, I don't see any past. You're in a timeless, a time warp. And in this, everything exists. And the magical thing is, if you want to heal something from the past, you don't get dragged back to it. That's regression. And the word regression, I digress, I regret, it's not a great term for it, right? When you go back in time to heal, it might sound good and you can accomplish some shifts, but the fact that you're still dragged into something called time, it's not as powerful as it could be. The way you heal the past or future is to bring them to the present. Stand in the truth, the light, the safety of God, and let the right things come to you to be dispersed. Don't go and fix them in the past. Bring them to the present. Anytime anybody's doing any healing work with you, and I don't care if it's surgery, dentistry, past life regression, any of it, have your moment prior to it starting of calling in the presence of God. And it immediately starts shifting your consciousness, how you will experience this event. Okay? If you have regrets, I wish I didn't marry them. That's not going to be helpful. Wishing doesn't switch where you are in the past or present in a healthy way. Wishing I didn't, you know what that does? Is it takes me out of the potential now to some other time. By wishing I didn't do that, I am there. I am that. It is affecting me. Does that make sense? Hoping that I can someday, I'm not here. Here is my power, my creative self. This is my oneness with God. Wishing for a future to be something, I'm not in the now, so I'm not in the power. I'm in the ego out here somewhere. Outside isn't healthy. I stop and I come back right here. In as simple as a prayer, honestly. Whether it's a longer meditation or a simple prayer, it's no. Here is love. And then, in the past, had this happen. Okay, hold it. Even you telling me something horrible that happened in the past, it starts pulling me. I can feel it. So what I do is bring it to now. So I'm going to go ahead and have this memory, and you must maintain the vessel. Peace, peace, peace. It's why us as healers, peace. You as parents, let the children know you're in a safe space, like the phone call I talked about, right? Are you okay? That was a container. Do you see what I did there? I care about you. Yeah, but mom's, because I did, I don't care. That's, putty in a wall. We'll deal with that later. How are you doing? And now magic can happen, right? Safe or sacred space. We're not always expert at creating, there's moments somebody steps on your foot and you're not like, sacred space is here. Your toe is inflamed and it's throbbing and so on. But you can say, as you walk in pain, despite the way my foot feels, toe feels, my heart's feeling, despite the way things seem, I'm calling in your presence. I'm allowed to. I'm encouraged to. It's my power. It's my right. Free will. Despite the presence of God is here and now. And now you've started opening that portal. Now, are you willing to step into it? and just show more commitment and affirmation. I'm fine. And you step into that and you hold that space. You don't let your mind drift past and future. Okay, is that all making sense? So, and with the different things you asked about, there's only so much we can focus on each of these words, but, examples. Hopefully we covered enough time and the now. But one last sentence, because you asked about trust. We're afraid. People are kind of sad or upset about the past generally, agreed? Most people are afraid of the future, agreed? Yes or no? Right. So these are not really doing well. And you think and there's billions of years of this compared to nothing here, right? So people are terrified of time, which is why time knew to be afraid that someone's going to try to kill it, because it knows everybody's afraid of me, okay? Now, if that's true, and it is, you would think this is the problem. We're more afraid of timelessness than we are of time. Because time was still me. Time was about my past and my future. At least I'm there. It's my past, my future. This thing is God's. God owns this territory. You see? If ever you owned property, you like it or you didn't, it was still your property out here. Would you be willing to move into a property? I'm going to give you a car. I'm not going to tell you whose name it's in. Well, no, because if I get pulled over, I got to show registration. Just trust. I mean, trust is terrifying compared to, this stuff out here. Seems scary, seems sad, seems regretful, etc., but it's nothing compared to this. People are terrified in complete surrender into trust. If you want to know the present moment, it's not the thing people think, oh man, I just live in the present. If you lived in the present, you'd be going, I tend to live in the present. You'd be terrified because it's frightening, because in the present, there's a chance of your total oblivion. Because there is going to be oblivion. Your ego will cease to exist when you step into this. So it's afraid, the ego. Don't go through that portal. You can't say, ego, tell me what's in the portal. It'll say, I don't know, but I know it can't be good. Because when you enter this doesn't exist. Which is a metaphor of saying when you enter God, the ego doesn't exist. So it's upset at you, the idea of you finding your present moment. But it's not going to scream and melt, I'm melting. It doesn't even exist. It's retired for lack of work. That's all. You just dismiss it. And it says blah, blah, blah. And you say, it's funny, but I'm not interested really. Yeah, but the past doesn't, what do you mean? I can't get through to you. How about the future? Yeah, they used to be terrifying to me. The funny thing is, I just feel good now. Oh, you must have found butter. The solution to all things. I don't know. So hopefully this is all making good sense. Oh, good. Right on. Please take a few centering breaths. I know this stuff could sound far out, but that's because it is. Set aside all stuff. Just breathe for a moment. Even the things we shared in the talk happened in the past. Take what's valuable with you and leave it, the past. What we talked about might calm your fears of the future. Let the future go. Take what's valuable to the present. When you're sitting and deciding you believe, your beliefs in love, light, power of God, sit with that for a moment. That takes you to the present moment. And in this, a portal begins to open because Father, Mother, God, I once saw only the past and feared the future. This is not your will. And it's not my true will either. But I don't know how to slip out of all that time stuff. So I ask the Holy Spirit to come upon me and lift out of me all my regrets of the past for this moment, my fears of the future for this moment. Just, I'm willing to let it all go. And I'm showing up right here. In this present moment, I'm calling upon the presence of my Divine Mother. Let the sounds you're hearing in the background become supernatural. Don't like them, don't dislike them. Let them be supernatural. Let the mother decide the notes, the tones, the sounds, and let her use them to weave you out of time. The tapestry of time becomes unwoven. And you breathe and you calm down and you enter the moment, the present moment. In this place, I feel comfort, I feel peace, I feel safe. Focus on that first. No thinking, just the feeling of safety. And then go deeper beyond just the gratitude of feeling safety. Go even deeper to the things we can't define. I don't know what the next feeling would be when I drop in deeper beyond peace, safety. What's found more deeply in the still, timeless space? And before you come out of that space, God would give you a gift to bring forward back into this realm world. A gift. It could be greater strength, courage. It could be a talent. But God absolutely says, thank you, beloved, for joining me here. Always wanting to gift you something for your dedication. You don't have to intellectually know what it is. Just breathe it in and know, I'm receiving your gift. Generically, we can call it the presence of God. And if you have the presence, you have everything else you need. And look at how powerless everything else is. If you're in this space and someone harmed you 8 lifetimes ago, what power does it have while still sitting in this space? What does it matter? If your car ran out of gas and you're sitting on the side of the street, to a human that's very inconvenient and traumatizing to some degree. But as a holy being, you're almost looking forward to who will drive by that needs your presence, your conversation, that will stop and commune or connect with you. We give thanks, Father, Mother, God. Help us to forgive ourselves and each other for all the times we forget this. The still small voice inside becomes a portal to everything. That which seemed so powerful, billions of years long, powerful world, universe, all the laws of physics, has absolutely no real power. It's just emptiness that we stuck images into. It's in this, what seemed so small, when I turn within and go through it, all power and goodness is there. I give deepest thanks. Help me to forgive myself for forgetting this and coming back to it. And so it is. Thank you so much. How's everyone feeling? Nice. Let's thank our musicians one more time. Yeah. Thank you. We're going to do our closing prayer. First, we'll do our collection. But many thanks for you being with us. Those of you who are traveling and are guests with us today, I appreciate you joining us. We're going to take up our collection. Just please be as generous as you can be. The bags are for your love offerings for today and so on. The baskets are more for any extra donations. That's where those donations would go for some of these new things. We have some new AV equipment. We just got our new computers and, a couple things like that that we'd appreciate, but it kind of hit us this month, these few things, all right? Just do what you can, but the prayer is on the brochures in front of you or it's posted online, the prosperity blessing. Really put your consciousness into it, your love, your support. Together, please. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. It should only take them a minute or two. Is there anybody in the room that loves canines and oracle cards? Can you give that to her? It's an oracle deck designed on canines. All right. Does anybody want to share? What did you learn or hear today that made the most sense for you? Yes, dear?
I just wanted to say thank you for giving us access to the portal. Because the timing was exquisite.
The timing of the message, exquisite. And you're welcome. I'm glad that you love you too. Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you. Yes?
I think I know how to get into the present portal now because thank you. I'm going to retire the past and the future for lack of work.
Good.
Thank you for that.
He's going to retire the past and future for lack of work. Yes, dear.
I want to echo and command thank you for trusting yourself, trusting your reflection in us, with you in this, and saying yes. Let's go.
Good. Thank you. Thank you. Let's go for it, right? Yes? Yeah, look at this. Can I hear an amen? Oh, yes, Jesus. Yes, dear. Nice. Nice. The music, right? Blessings. Who else? Let me see. Where are we going? Yes?
Everything's better with butter.
Yeah. There, another song waiting to be written. Everything's better with butter. Who was over here? There was a hand. Yes? No? Gone? Okay, and one last. Yes?
Just how the present moment, that portal that now exists in all, in everything.
Right.
Go there.
In every second was the portal. It's not here between past and future like we think. It was always in the past and future. It isn't, we think of the present being a time here. We think that being in the moment means today I'm in the moment. No, because everything before now is past still. Today doesn't lock in the present moment. That'd be like I wake up in the morning and I call for the present moment and all day I'm covered. I mean, anything still throws you off. It's not happening. So what really science doesn't understand, in every moment is the present moment, but hidden. And that means no matter what has happened to you, I'm sorry, and I know it hurts. And in every one of those moments, there was a portal for you to enter heaven. Despite the outside, that somehow your soul thought you had lessons to learn and healing to achieve, but you didn't. So the world will tell you this was off, and the portal will tell you, hi, how are you doing? Well, there was this thing, yeah, but it's not now, is it? No. And by the time you're done having this conversation, your body may be gone on that side, and you won't care. That's why Jesus looks at the other person on the cross. One of them saying, save me. That's the one caught in time. And the other says, I'm on to you, man. You're kind of different, aren't you? And Jesus is like, yeah. And this being goes, you know what? I'm not going to get caught up with asking things of the past and future. I just ask, wherever you're going, take me with you. Inside, and Jesus says, I promise you this day you shall be with me in paradise. See? Now, to be that person, I would never want to be that person on the cross. You know what? Lucky him. That in that moment, he didn't allow his past and future to exist and to harm him, oppress him. He let the present moment choice be the only reality. Turns within and release. Isn't that amazing? God bless you all. Please stand for our closing prayer. Hands on your heart for a moment, giving thanks to yourself for being so open to co-create this kind of experience that we share with one another. There's a lot of other places I could have been, given my history, given my this and that and the other, a lot of other choices I could have made other than being in a space like this right here, right now. This is no accident or coincidence. This good vibe, this wonderful experience has to be the result of my learning to make healthier choices. Even if this is my first day here or doing anything like this, something must have told me I deserve goodness. And it's not only true for me, to all the people I encounter, I can share this goodness. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we go, God is, I am, we are, and so it is. Peace be with you all. Thank you. You're welcome.